Before we begin, just breathe.
Today I didn't come with ready answers, not with catchphrases, not with quick solutions. I came with silence, with memory, with pieces of my own road. Perhaps, in the space between my voice and your listening, something will blossom. I want to talk about something that I carry with me like someone carrying a flame on a windy day. Joy. Not that joy of social media, of open laughter and applause, but the gentle, almost shy joy that insists on existing even when the world falls apart. I've been in dark places. I've had days that felt like nights that were too long. And in those moments, joy felt like a place I no longer had access to. But she was there, hidden in the smell of bread in the kitchen, in a bird that landed on the window, in the memory of an old hug. Joy, in these times, is not euphoria. It's resistance. It is a candle that does not go out, even when the wind blows strongly. Joy is not the absence of pain. We learn to associate joy with moments of achievement, celebration, stability. But the deepest joy is born in the midst of confusion. It's that child who plays in the middle of the war. It's the man who dances even with pain in his knees. Joy doesn't deny pain. It acknowledges it. And yet, it chooses to breathe. I met a man named Samuel. He had lost everything in a fire, his house, his shop, his memories. But every morning, he would put a chair on the sidewalk, make coffee, and offer it to passers-by. I asked, "How can you smile?" And he replied, "Because smiling is not forgetting what I lost. It is remembering what I still am." The small miracles of every day. Have you ever stopped to smell the wet earth after the rain? Have you ever noticed the delicacy of a sleeping child? Joy lives there. In the details. She doesn't shout. She doesn't impose herself. She reveals herself to those who look calmly. I'll tell you about Mrs. Elaine, an 84-year-old woman I met in a village in rural England. Every day she walked to the community garden, carried a folding stool, sat near the lavender, and read poetry softly. I asked why. She said, "Because flowers like company, and so do I." This is joy, not depending on big events to be present. Story. The Gardener of Silence. There was a man named Elliot. He was a gardener at an old cemetery in a small town in the interior of the United States. Every day, he arrived before sunrise. He tended the plants, swept the leaves, and cleared the paths. But what really caught the eye was the wildflower garden he planted around the oldest graves. One day I went there. It was autumn. The ground was covered with golden leaves. Elliot was kneeling, burying tulip bulbs. I asked, "Why plant now, if winter is coming?" He smiled and said, "Because someone will need beauty in the spring. Maybe someone will come here crying. And I want you to find something that says, the world can still be kind." He told me about a man who came every Saturday to visit his wife's grave. He would read a passage from her favorite book, leave a rose, and remain silent for almost an hour. "It's been 10 years, Elliot said, "and he's never missed a beat." Then he added, "Morning is just love looking for a place to stay. Here, I give a garden for this love to continue living." This is joy. Joy in the midst of loss. Joy as silent care. Elliot also spoke of June, a young woman who lost her brother in a sudden accident. She began leaving small stones with written messages, words of hope. Over time, others began doing the same. A collective altar was created where mourners left letters, flowers, and notes. A garden of unspoken words. "I care for this space as if I were caring for what has become invisible," Elliot said. "It's what remains of the love that remains here." Joy as gentle rebellion, choosing to feel joy in such a fast-paced world, is almost a political act. It is to say, I still believe in lightness. I still believe in silent mornings, in shared coffee, in laughter that doesn't need a reason. I saw a young man once on the New York subway playing the violin. He played with his eyes closed, as if the noise of the world couldn't reach him. Nobody stopped, nobody paid attention, but he continued. And in that persistence, there was a beauty. Joy is not always what you receive. Sometimes, it's what we offer, even without knowing if anyone will notice. Spirituality is seeing with the eyes of the soul. When we become silent, we begin to see what cannot be seen. Joy is presence. It's when the soul finds space to breathe. It's when you realize that even in the void, there is something holding you back. In Iceland, I met a young woman named Liv. She told me, "The winters here are long. Sometimes we don't see the sun for days. But we've learned to light little lights inside the house. Candles, fireplaces, conversations. Because warmth is also built. Joy," she said, "is not what comes from outside. It's what we choose to keep lit." Closing, 3 minutes. If today seems dark, if your heart feels heavy, breathe slowly. Don't run from pain, but don't forget to look to the side. Maybe there is a flower growing in the middle of the stone. Maybe a little bird is singing just so you notice. Life sometimes whispers, and in these whispers, joy lives. Look for her. She doesn't scream, but if you listen, she takes you by the hand. And even if you are tired, hurt, lost, she walks with you, because joy is the secret language of the soul, and she always knows the way back home.